1,000 pardons, but the Battle Reeve requires your prompt appearance at the Proxy Queen's court. Battle Reeve Tanalina requests your presence at the Royal Palace. There is a situation developing, and you have come highly recommended. Or so we have been led to believe. There are eager ears everywhere, so keep your voice low. The situation involves Sea Slode. The Battle Reeve has been informed that you dispatched one of the foul creatures. I find that implausible, but as a lowly squire, my opinion doesn't matter. I can tell you that the Battle Reeve sent 3 adventurers and a squad of marines to determine the extent of the problem. After an initial report, contact with the group was lost. What the Battle Reeve will ask of you, well, that's for her to impart.
There you are. Quickly, over here. Well, were you able to find Nirelin? Or at least, whatever those werewolves left of her? I see. Well, at least I won't have to begin my marriage negotiations anew. As long as Nirelin's willing to put this incident behind her, all will be well. Here's your payment for a task well completed and your discretion on the matter.
I've returned, Estadel, and I've reflected on my actions.
I suppose nearly getting yourself killed will do that. I'm just glad you finally came to your senses.
Yes, of course. Dearest, tell me. Our wedding day, weren't we told the moons would be full?
Why, yes. A most auspicious sign, the priests told us.
Oh yes, most auspicious indeed. I very much look forward to it.
Let's just hope my betrothed has learned a lesson from all of this. It certainly doesn't pay to go running around with the first vagabond who shows interest.
I trust you to keep my little secret. And who knows? Maybe we'll see each other again. Somewhere deep within the woods.
Seeking a sip of fine Russifeld red? Prepare for disappointment. Headed to the famed Russifeld winery, traveler? Well then, it seems I'm not the only one who'll be disappointed today. Old Hallimorian's been offed by those wood elves. Won't be any wine tastings for a while, I'd wager. Just what I heard from one of the bailiffs. Apparently, some daffy Bosmer called the Ghost of the Green did it, but no one knows for sure. The investigation's hit a snag. Something about the rule of 3. Superstitious nonsense, if you ask me. Indeed. Until they find a suitable third investigator, the Juris Reeves and Revelators are left to sit on their hands. Nonsense. Why not go lend them a hand? They'll likely just tell you to go jump into the sea, but it can't hurt to ask.
An examiner's quorum needs 3 members. You both know this.
Not this again.
It's not just superstition, Soraville. We need outside perspective.
So, what? We just randomly recruit the next adventurer that passes by?
And just like that, Oriel provides. Greetings, Caraval. I am Chief Juris Reeve Tarnamir of the Divine Prosecution. Or at least I was, in the long ago. I know this is unorthodox, but perhaps you'd be interested in helping us. As you can see, a murder took place here. My protégés, Lorne and Soraville, came to investigate, but I fear they may lack perspective. The particulars of this murder... Forgive me, I'm getting ahead of myself. They need fresh eyes. Yours, I believe. You would take on the duties of the Adminan, the listening eye. An auspicious role. The admin serves as the fulcrum, balancing competing theories. They also collect evidence, interview suspects, and the like. What do you say? I thank the divines that you've agreed to help. This murder weighs heavy on all of us. The victim, Halamorian, was not well liked. Many locals may lift a glass to his passing. But the assassin, the Ghost of the Green, that's altogether different. Better to ask Lorne about it. Capturing the ghost was her obsession for a time. The fact that he's returned does not sit well with her. I can say no more. I don't want to prejudice your impressions. The admin should bring a fresh perspective. They're the most gifted investigators I've ever trained. Soraville has keen eyes and solid instincts when it comes to reading people. Good at finding pressure points, you know? As for Lorne, she has a mind like a dwarven puzzle box. For Lorne, logic is an art. She's clinical in her sensibilities, precise. Many of us have come to rely on magical inquiry to solve crimes. She relies on her wits and intuition instead. Of course, this case presents unique challenges. Lorne and Soraville drifted apart shortly after they caught the original Ghost of the Green. It's a complicated matter, and not my story to tell. Suffice it to say, this case cuts deep, and Lorne seems distracted. I hope you can help her keep her wits. As I said, was the Chief Inquisitor for the Divine Prosecution's Hindelatus Wing, the division charged with solving adoctrinal crimes. Forgive me, it's a mouthful for newcomers, I know. I retired here to Russefeld a few decades ago. Well, I own the land, so in some ways I have even greater authority than I did as Chief Inquisitor. I still enjoy a bit of clout, too. Real leadership doesn't rely on titles, Kerem. Not a popular opinion here in Summerset, but true nonetheless. Ha! Fair, I suppose. I may be retired, but I've spent the better part of 3 centuries examining crime scenes and interrogating criminals. When it comes to reading people, I am more than proficient. Let me guess. Thieves' Guild? Or is it Dark Brotherhood? I won't pretend that bringing a criminal into this business sets my heart at ease, but you're no common hood. You're a professional. Who better to investigate a crime than a criminal?
So you'll be joining us. Good. Call me Lorne. No need for flowery titles. We Altmer have too many names already. I'm glad you're here. Outsiders often make the best adminins. A fresh pair of eyes will be essential here. More essential than usual. It's a long and depressing story. One I'm not keen to recount. For now, just know that whoever murdered Halamorian took great pains to make it look like the work of the Ghost of the Green. A killer that Soraville and I apprehended decades ago. The Ghost always left a signature to let us know it was him. He killed each victim with a single wood elf arrow to the heart, then laid a fern over the body. The fern is here, but the shot was sloppy. And the arrow is of High Elven make. It's odd. I need to examine the body in more detail. Can you do a sweep of the vineyard? If you find anything, blow this whistle. It also might be worth questioning people in town. They'll be more forthcoming with an outsider.
What do you want? The Revelators already questioned me and cut me loose. I just want to be here if something exciting happens. You don't? The Ghost of the Green has returned. Zen's avenging champion. Of course it's exciting. These Longlegs thought they executed him years ago, but now he's back, ready to dole out Deepwood justice. New around here, eh? Halimorian was a sap-ass dandy, slapping wood elves with one hand and groping them with the other. The Ghost of the Green just did what the prosecution wouldn't. Good riddance. Murdered? No, executed. Executed by a righteous hand. Just have a look around, outsider. I'll bet my horns you'll find evidence of misdeeds. This was a long time coming. Hopefully it put these other long-legged prigs on notice.
Ah! You come to babble with Babblebrook? When came the killers? I had a look. Babblebrook knows what Babblebrook sings. Why can't you make sense of things? A ghost did bring the vintner's end, but even wraiths can have a friend. Don't you see? Death comes in twos. Friends and killers both win and lose. Killers and killed are two, it's true. So near, the source of fear. But Babblebrook babbles too long, it seems. Best make haste, or we'll hear more screams.
It really is too bad about Halimorian. I told him he shouldn't be so free with his politics. It's a different climate now, after all. You have to watch what you say around people. On the upside, it's good to be rid of a rival vintner. Oh, darling, you're a bit late to the party if that's why you're here. I already submitted my statement to the Revelators, and my alibi is thrice confirmed. To be honest, the only reason I'm still here is to find one of my servant girls. Yes, a charming young wood elf named Farrell. I only recently brought her on. She used to work for the late Halimorian, but there was some kind of incident. I don't know the details. According to my other servant girl, she often came back here to visit the friends she left behind. She'd attend Bosmer suppers, midday revels in the grape fields, that sort of thing. I encourage my girls to take time for themselves, within reason. Aren't you a cherry blossom? That would be lovely. Take care, Karen.
Another body. Delightful.
Oh dear. Blood on her hands and blouse. But no slashing wounds. This doesn't fit the pattern. The ghost always kills with a bow. This was spur of the moment. Unexpected. Maybe she fought back.
Why do you insist on puzzling these things over like an femme? You know the death memory ritual. It's a simple...
Enough, Soraville. You know that's forbidden. Admin, look around and see if you can find the source of this blood. You found something? So did I. It looks like Fariel was strangled, not stabbed. This blood must be the attacker's. A sickle. Blood on the blade. She must have used it to defend herself. Then the attacker hid it. This blood could be the key. I intend to, yes. I'm a fair hand at alchemy. You'd be surprised how useful it can be in my line of work. I've caught more killers with flasks and alembics than I have with any sword. My husband used to say Sorry. I suppose it's past time I told you. The ghost murdered 17 people before we caught him. His last victim was my husband. Soraville's wife committed suicide when she heard the news. They were having an affair, you see. It was a difficult time. It's fine, Now you see why we needed a neutral party. Enough. Let's get back on task. I'd like you to search Halamorian's villa. It's just southwest of here. He was unpopular. If we can find out why, we might be able to establish motive. Sorry, I don't mean to be checking up on you. I just think better when I walk. And the blood is still simmering in the alembic. It will be some time before I have the results. Did you find anything of use in Halamorian's villa? From what I hear, the accusations are almost certainly true. So, Halamorian was making unwanted advances. Of course. The original ghost murder spree started with a high elf farmer who took liberties with his Bosmer laborers. We never published the details of that investigation. It can't be a coincidence. This new ghost must be someone in the know. Someone close. None that I'm keen to share, not yet anyway. For now, let's go with what we know. The Wood Elves have motive. Soraville went down to the cottage east of here to look around. Meet him there, and see if you can shake anything loose. I have to think.
I assure you, Chief, it would bring me no joy to unleash our revelators on your new home, but I'll have to unless you let us take a look around.
Fine, but just one of you, your partner. Do your work, then leave us in peace.
One, then. I'll be sure to report your compliance to the Divine Prosecution.
Like we have a choice in the matter. Come, join me for a meal. Meat's fresh enough.
Delightful. I suppose I'll stay here to break bread with the Chief while you have a look around. Not the way I wanted things to go, but we will simply have to adapt. Did she? I must admit, I'm surprised. Lorne never talks about that ordeal. Certainly not with me, anyway. My. Are you an adminin or a confessor? Tarnamir is quite right. After all that happened, we had a difficult time getting back into a routine. I tried to keep things professional, healthy, but she was just lost. She never fully recovered. Tarnamir. When the Ghost of the Green returned, Tarnamir naturally called on the two people best suited to catch him. It was awkward at first, but we've managed. I suppose I have you to thank for that. In part, at least. Not regularly, no. We High Elves have acute memories, but I find that if you stay busy enough, you don't have time to reminisce. So much the better. Anything at all that could link this clan, or one of its members, to the murders of Halamorian or Fariel. None of these Wood Elves held Halamorian in high regard. We just need to find out if that enmity led to murder. Operate under the assumption that the killer was here, or still could be. Question everything you see and hear, and look out for any overt or subtle references to the Ghost of the Green. Ah, yes. I hadn't even thought of that. A corrupt high elf merchant and an abused wood elf girl. There are certainly similarities. I find everything suspicious. Whoever this killer is, they've obviously acquainted themselves with the ghost's history and methods. We kept most of those details secret, but unscrupulous revelators routinely sell those details to enthusiasts. Honestly, I think this is the work of a deranged and obsessive mind. One of these wood elves read about the Ghost of the Green, saw an opportunity for cultural glory, for immortality, and seized it. Even so, Lorne and I have to be sure.
Who are you? Are you with the Divine Prosecution? My husband warned me you might come poking round. Halamorian hated us. He abused our children and tried to drive us off. Of course the High Elves would suspect us. And our son Kellan, he... Never mind, please just go. We don't want any trouble. We just want to live here in peace. You really just want to keep him safe? Well, I'm not supposed to say this, but Kellan has been going on about the Ghost of the Green for weeks now. You know boys and their masked heroes. I didn't think there was any harm in it. But now... No, of course not. He's a good boy. I only mean that it could look suspicious because of his interest in those old legends. Besides, didn't the Ghost of the Green run around in a mad hunter's costume? Where would my son get something like that? Yes, I'm sure. Look, you're free to look around. Just try to... We're simple men and we don't have much. Halamorian may have been a cruel bigot, but none of us would ever murder him for it, I swear. I've said enough already. If you're finished here, please, just leave us in peace. And if you see my boy, tell him to come home.
No good comes from the Wood Orcs. Never forget...
Bosmer cuisine is truly revolting. I bought us as much time as I could. I hope you found something useful. A shrine? There's an old shrine to Ifre west of here, the Red Temple. But from what Tarnamir told me, people rarely visit. Filled with wild animals or some such. I only know of one entrance, a cave nearby. Follow me. We should split up. Don't want this little scamp slipping out behind us. I can handle this gap easily. You search the other hall.
No. Wait! What did everything you asked? I just can't anymore. I'm not a killer. I only wanted to protect Farrell.
We could have worked such terrible wonders together. Pathetic. You, though, you're perfect. Tell Lorne her past is hunting her present. Yes, tell her that.
What's happening? Am I... The ghost recruited me, said he needed me. He gave me the costume, told me to kill as he would. Halamorian hated us, was going to kill us. I know it, after what he did to Fariel. Farrell is dead. Oh, Divines. You've cursed me, haven't you? I only shot Halamorian, I swear it. Farrell was so kind. I wanted Halamorian to pay. I thought the Ghost of the Green was a hero. I wanted people to see me that way. Never saw his face. He never said his name. I didn't need to know. I'd read the stories. I believed in him, and he saw something in me. I never... Mother... I'm sorry.
I was too slow. Damned Mer slipped right past me. Tall for a wood elf, and quick as a spooked hare. So, it really is the chief's son. Wait, what? What do you mean, another ghost of the green? The journal you showed me, did Kellan kill Halamorian or not? What about the wood elf girl, Fariel? Did he kill her too? Yes, show her the arrow immediately. Perhaps she can compare Kellan's blood to the blood on Fariel's sickle. At the very least, we'll be able to determine if Kellan killed Fariel. I'll be along as soon as I'm able.
You're back. And not a moment too soon. Do you have something for me? A second ghost. I suspected as much. And he killed this Kellan with that arrow? Another high elf hunting arrow, like the one that killed Halamorian. Kellan had motive. This second ghost provided the costume, the weaponry. But why? So, this isn't about Halamorian. It isn't about the Wood Elves or Altmer prejudiced. It's about me. It's always been about me. I knew it. I knew this was too convenient. I also knew the Mer who killed Fariel couldn't be this Kellan. I just finished experimenting on the blood from Fariel's sickle. It was Altmer blood. This second ghost isn't some wood elf zealot. He's a high elf like me. I moved the bodies to Tarnamir's manor. We should... Maybe we missed something. What? This place has been... What happened here? Oh no. No. Tarnamir? Tarnamir, are you here? Tarnamir? No. I can't. Just give me a moment. I need to process this. Have to keep a clear head. You found something? This is a message. Everything in this room. It's all meant to tell us something. What's that on the wall? Elevane is another name for the Helus owl. Elevanes lay their eggs, then abandon them. We use that word to describe people who are cold-hearted or aloof. And then there's the bodies, arranged to mimic Mara's cross. This is about love, intimacy. Or more likely, someone I failed to love. There's only one suspect left. A Mer with means, motive, and deep understanding of the Ghost of the Green. No, it can't be. The Ghost of the Green ruined Soraville's life, just as he ruined mine. If not for the ghost, Soraville's wife would likely still be alive. I have to know. I'm sorry for what you're about to see. Auriel, forgive me. Stand back, and I'll show you. You already saw how Kellan died. Now, we'll see the others.
What's this? A tiny ghost of a green? Ha! Run along, well, before...
What have I done?
Kellan definitely killed Halamorian. Now, Fariel.
Who are you?
Soraville was observing Kellan when Fariel saw him. She slashed him with her sickle before he overpowered her.
So it is you. Shame on you.
The shame is Lorne's, old Mer. Now she'll have your death on her conscience, too.
No, Soraville. This is you and you alone.
Give my regards to my loving wife and Lorne's degenerate husband.
Lorne?
I know you're watching, Lorne. Now that I've broken your spirit and you've broken your vow, come to the place where my wife is buried. There, I will break your body.
I need some air. I'll be outside. How could he blame me for this? Is it not enough that I lost my husband? Damn him. His wife was buried here. This is where we'll find him. You're sticking by my side. Even after I used that death memory ritual. I appreciate that, Admin. Truly. I suppose I owe you a bit of an explanation. I told you how the Ghost of the Green killed my husband. Soraville's wife, my husband's lover, was overcome with grief. I think she truly loved him. As soon as she heard the news, she climbed into the wash tub, opened her wrist, and died. Not for that. For what came after. Soraville wanted us to mend each other's wounds. Perhaps even fall in love and make a life together. I just couldn't. I focused on the work and pushed him away. He grew detached, bitter. Now I need to stop him. Come, let's put an end to this. Sorville! I know you're here. What do you want from me?
Oh, Lorne, I've already taken so much. Your teacher, your honor, your pride. There's only one thing left for me to take. Your life.
Sorville. Don't worry about me. Go. We can't let Sorville escape again. Don't worry about me. Find Sorville. Go!
The Ghost of the Green's final victim. Time to die, Admanen.
I didn't kill them to run away. Well, no, I guess it wouldn't. Maybe they should try that.
Sorville. Is he... He is. It's done then, isn't it? I knew he wouldn't come quietly. In the end, I bear the blame. A killer. Right beside me, and I didn't see it until more lives were lost. I'm glad you were here, Admanin. I will be. The arrow struck near my collarbone. Sorville was a gifted marksman. Maybe he couldn't see as well through the mask, or it was nerves. Or maybe he didn't really want me dead after all. Just one more question I'll never have answered. One more thing, if you're willing. I'm certain that Sorville never spoke to Kellan's parents. Given that this was all his scheme to begin with. They lost their son, and they don't know why. It was you that avenged him. You should tell them that. I just need a moment here alone. Ironic that this came to a head in such a holy place. Maybe I can find some absolution here. Or at least some small measure of peace. He did. Perhaps I deserved it. But all those people, an innocent girl, a naive young Mer, a dear friend. They paid the price, while I still live. I don't know if I'll ever make peace with that. You're right, I suppose. I just wish I had been better. A better Jurisreeve, a better wife, a better friend. Maybe I could have prevented all this. I'm sorry. Thank you for your kind words. I will try to take them to heart. You have my word.
He's my son. I deserve to know what's going on.
I don't. I am sorry. But the prosecution is still examining his body. We will release his remains to you as soon as we can.
You? I remember you. Please, you have to tell me what's going on. My son never came home. And now they tell me he's... They won't even let me see him. What happened to my boy? Ifre's mercy. How could you? Why didn't you save him? Damn this place. Damn the prosecution. Here, take this thing. I found it under Kellon's bed. I never want to see it again. I never want to see you again. God's help me.
A hard thing to witness. There are rarely any happy endings in this line of work. You just have to remember that things would be much worse had you not been here. That matters.
No! These models just won't do. I finally decide to pursue true art, to move beyond painting backdrops for someone else's stage. And what models do I find? Polished, unblemished, all round boringly beautiful. I need someone who will give my work meaning, a depth of morality. As a matter of fact, I do. I've heard rumors of a Hulkind in the forest outside Relenthal, a perfect subject for my work. I'd like you to serve as my proxy and arrange a meeting between us. The sinkhole nearby should serve my purpose. High elves who were cast out from their families as children. A horrible fate in our society. Summerset may appear as perfect as a pastoral painting, but darkness lies backstage. I want to face our taboos without blinking. Will you help me? Thank you for accepting my offer. I traveled to the Hulkind myself, but the wilderness is no place for an artist. Besides, they may be more willing to talk to a newcomer such as yourself. The Hulkind are well known for being distrustful. High elves strive for perfection in all things, and their bloodline most of all. Hulkins are children abandoned by their families for some perceived imperfection, generally a physical deformity. They're more than just orphans. They're outcasts. In Summerset, family stands above all. They guide your life, almost immeasurably. To be without family is to be unseen, unrecognized as a member of our society. There's not much of a life a Hulkin can make for themselves because of that. I will admit it's an odd desire. Most don't even wish to speak of them. But as an artist, I find myself fascinated with the subject. I want to capture that taboo. To paint the morally grey, where so many only wish for black and white.
Down, Kerr. I've got it covered. Would you care to explain why you're tracking me? An artist, you say? Intriguing. I'd accept, but I'm currently occupied with a rather tricky contract. Unless you wish to perform the task for me, I'm afraid this tableau is out of luck. If you think you're up to the task, this forest is a protectorate of the Sapiarchs. A noble contracted me to poach one of the Indrics and bring him her heart. He wishes to serve it at a feast. Petty defiance is a mask of prestige, you see. We have a deal. You'll collect the heart and I'll meet with Tableau. Kerr will lead you straight to the Indrik. I've already given her the scent, so it's as simple as following behind. And then killing the beast, of course. Summerset nobility isn't quite as squeaky clean as they want you to believe. In fact, the pressures of perfection often lead them to some questionable desires. My services allow me to perform more unbecoming tasks, given my social status. I have no family to shame, no name which to soil. I may as well be a shadow, for all the worth I am given. Society would rather ignore me than admit I exist. Of course, this anonymity allows me unprecedented freedom. the blessing within my curse. Yes, I was rejected when I was but a babe. One look upon my face should tell you why. I was raised by the priests of Stendar, stern mer who did not much care to cater towards the whims of a child. It was a cold upbringing. A hulkind, a broken child. That's what I've been all my life, why deny it? But being unwanted, outcast, it's almost a relief. I had no family to please, no name to live up to. I choose my own path. Rejection is almost liberating in that sense.
Keep them on the back foot! You finally arrived! And with quite a strong stench.
Excuse me a moment, Tableau. I must speak with our mutual acquaintance.
I'm ever so pleased you could arrange this meeting. Manakar has been the perfect gentleman, and such a great model. Inspiration is just flooding through me.
Well, this isn't quite what I expected. Your friend is a curious individual. Scribbled constantly as we talked. I had no idea she wished for me to be a model. Well, no matter. Have you the heart? Good. It seems you're as competent a companion as Kerr. I realize our business is concluded, but a complication has arisen which would benefit from your continued assistance. Tableau is quite insistent on finishing her sketch, but it may take a few hours. I'd hate to leave her indisposed after all the trouble she went through to find me. I must request you deliver the heart for me. The inn within Lalandril. The contact's name is Voltarian. Best to deliver the heart before it starts to rot. Wouldn't want to ruin his little feast. You may keep my payment as compensation. A fair trade, after all your work. Lalandril is just to the west. You shouldn't have any trouble.
Manakar? Didn't I tell you to remain seated? I'm only halfway through this sketch.
Well, yes. My apologies.
You know, perhaps I'll hire Manakar as my bodyguard. The art world can be quite cutthroat in Summerset, and it's not unheard of to face a few dangers. Yes, that sounds just perfect.
That is it! I'm done with this mad forest. My, you look like you could use gold. Care to take a job of mine? Quite simple, really. An academic needs an escort through this forest. She wished to meet at a camp. Given the manner of the riffraff one sees on the road these days, I cut through the forest. It's a maze in there. I was hired to defend a respectable research expedition, not to tramp through the woods in full armor. Undaywin should have known better. An Ultima fights for glory, not coin. Crawling through the muck just to find some insignificant little temple? Simply outrageous. So, are we agreed? You'll take this off my hands?
Greetings, my friend. Fancy meeting you all the way out here. Say, have you met with another high elf around here? Heavy armor, sour disposition. I hired her as an escort for my expedition, and unfortunately, I cannot start without her. Hardly a surprise, given her demeanor last we spoke. Still, it's hard to get someone to agree to escort you into Ebon Stadmont. From what I heard, the forest appears to shift as you move through it. Makes it a bit tricky to navigate. Well, I found research of an ancient temple, somewhere in this very forest. I've come to study what secrets it may have, but I don't think it wise to go it alone. Say, would you be willing to escort me? I must say, I do pay well. Thank you for accepting my offer. I'm quite excited to be heading my own expedition. Tellinger may have a great mind, but sometimes he's a bit much. It's nice to finally be able to break free from being just his assistant. Oh no, of course not. The Mages Guild still requires me to accompany him on his expeditions. I've just taken a short sabbatical is all. As soon as I finish my research here, I'm sure I'll be off on more hair-raising adventures. Well, being Telliger's assistant is informative in many ways, but I think now's the time to prove to the Mages Guild, and to myself, that I can strike out on my own. Ebon Stadmont just happened to catch my interest. The ruins within Ebon Stadmont are ancient, perhaps even built in the Merethic era. They contain inscriptions of a mysterious language, which only a few have begun to translate. I believe these inscriptions can help lead us to the inner temple. It's old, even for a High Elf's perspective. I found translations of only a few phrases, and even those are sparse. An interesting topic for a linguist, perhaps, but for me it's only the means to an end. The temple is all I wish to investigate. As I said before, this forest is tricky to navigate. The pathways twist and shift as you walk through it. That's why the temple hasn't been explored previously. Following these inscriptions should lead us to the temple. Not much. Even though one can see the temple through the trees, the forest has made all research near impossible. It most likely was a place of worship, now abandoned. For some reason, the worshippers wished for the temple to remain inaccessible. The nature of this forest doesn't allow travelers to simply walk to the temple we seek. Someone must have used magic to accomplish this, in order to keep outsiders from entering. Luckily, the inscriptions here should guide us. We're looking for inscriptions. Alert me once you see any gibberish carved into stone. Yes, this is exactly what we're looking for. Why, it's almost as if I can hear the words. Sel Ra Ang Yond. Eastern Temple? Daedra? I don't have time for distractions. Could you hold them off while I finish
Still
translating?
here. Thanks for asking.
Get back, you fetcher!
The inscription indicates that the temple is further up. Quick, follow me. Well, seems the rumors are true. Ebon Stadmont truly does twist around you. Perhaps another inscription will help guide us. Aha! Now let's see. That voice again. Para Ekne. Past pathway? Daedra again? Ah, we don't have time for this.
Do you want to brag about that, or should I?
Hurrah! Bonisto! The past revealed.
Up the stairs. Take care of that thing before it takes care of us. Thank the stars. I think he's coming too. Let's hear what this Mer has to say. Perhaps he'll know what's going on in this forest.
Am I in Aetherius? You don't look like my ancestors. Are you gods? We of the House of Reveries have no names, only masks. But you can call me Fletch, because I specialize in the art of the bow, see? Oh, my aching head. How did I end up here? I don't remember a thing. Ebon Stadmont, I'm sorry, but I just don't remember. I must have come here with my traveling troupe, though. I wouldn't have left Relenthiel without them. Someone must have ambushed me. A ferocious someone, given my state. Daedra? Mara's elbow, that doesn't sound good. Could you help me find my troop leader, Maestro Forte? I need to warn him. He should be somewhere nearby, I think. Forte! Is that you?
Fletch, what's happened?
The whole troop is looking for you.
Grand Maestro Forte? Why, I had no idea you were in Ebon Stadmont.
Grand? Oh no, I'm simply Maestro Forte. Hardly worthy of the title Grand yet.
Grand Maestro Forte's here as well? Why, this just gets more curious by the minute. Come, let's speak with him. Grand Maestro Forte...
It appears you've saved Fletch from the brink of death. It brings to mind the story of Temerian, who of course was saved by the Nereids of... Ah, but now is not the time for such tales. Tell me, what has happened? Daedra? I had no idea. Our watch did report some strange creatures prowling about at night, but I've heard of no other attacks. Something must be attracting them here. Did you just come from the temple? The only thing of note I discovered within the temple is a glowing stone in its main chamber. I've yet to translate the stone's inscription, but it may be attracting Daedra to it. I found a similar stone nearby. Can you help me investigate? Excellent. Why don't you and your companion head to the stone? Just follow the path north. I'll escort Fletch to our camp and make sure he's seen to. We'll meet back here afterward and share our findings.
This is all so strange. I just need a moment to think, puzzle it all out. Come, let's head to that northern stone.
Fall away. Future's door.
Did you hear it too? That woman's voice. At first I thought I was imagining it. Future's door. Drat. Well, I've realized where we are. A House of Reveries expedition I've never heard of. Grand Maestro Forte rebuffing his proper title. And the temple room where we found Fletch? It looked the same as the room we first entered, but there wasn't a cobweb or broken pew in sight. It means we ventured somewhere we never should have gone. The past. I know it seems far-fetched, but remember that stone we first activated? I thought the inscription referenced an event, but the past was a destination, not an occurrence. That's my theory, and I'd rather not explore further to find out. Affecting the past has far-reaching consequences. It makes me wonder what trouble we've already caused. But this stone's inscription indicates it should send us back to the present. I can't be sure in all honesty, but we have to try. Otherwise we'll be stuck in the past. This stone should lead us back to our natural time. All you need to do is keep that destination clearly in your mind. I'll follow right behind you. It is quite intriguing. Grand Maestro Forte is the head of Summerset's greatest acting troupe, the House of Reveries. But I've also heard tale that he's a great academic as well, though perhaps I'm more familiar with his work than I thought. The research I've been using to help translate the language here came from an expedition that occurred around this time. Perhaps Maestro Forte wrote the very notes that led me here. I'll ask him, but I'd rather not affect the past more than we have. Well, Fletch was very close to death, and I recall seeing bones in our present time, right where I found him injured. Most likely he was supposed to die. I'm almost glad I was so ignorant when I healed him. I don't know what I would have done. As I said earlier, changing the past has far-reaching consequences. For all I know, healing Fletch could have dire consequences to our present. I would have had to weigh his life against the potential impact of that change. Quite a somber thought. I've been hearing this voice since I first started translating these inscriptions. It must be some sort of magic, connected to the inscriptions. Perhaps connected to the language itself, come to think of it. Oh, it is rather odd for a mysterious language to speak to anyone who reads it. The misdirecting nature of Ebon Stadmont must have kept researchers from studying these inscriptions, that's all. Not to mention the local wildlife. I'm not sure what to tell you. I do know that we have to return to our time, and quickly. This mysterious voice, whatever its motivation, is the only thing helping us do that. We have little choice but to follow it now.
It's you. Years and years, and I never could find you. And here you are, back where it all began. Looking as if you haven't aged a day. My friend, what happened to you? So the stone did send you to the future after all. I had feared the worst. That day I tried to follow after you and return to our original time. But the stone's magic faded, and the doorway closed. Try as I might, I couldn't get it open. I was trapped within Ebon Stadmont. For decades, I'd been studying this language and desperately searching for a way out. But my path would always lead me back here. But I did it. I finally found a way to go back, to stop this all from happening. I must stop myself from ever going back in time. I've been wasting my life within this cursed forest. The Southern Stone. That's the key to... Wait, what's that? Is that Fletch? Fletch! Ah!
I'm sorry, dear, but your role has been cut.
The temple. You must go back. Go through the temple. The Southern Stone. Bane away Tendel. Those are the words. Stop this from happening. Take my diary. It will prove everything.
time for the grand finale of our little production. And thus the play continues.
I wasn't worried.
I'll
Were you
see
worried?
you soon.
Such an effort to escape me. I suppose I have what I need.
Well, I suppose it's curtain call. You finally figured it out. Well, and Derwin figured it out, didn't she? But hey, you put all the legwork in. And here you are, just in time to stop our leading lady from ever performing her starring role. Ah, but did you kill me? Truly? Not even an accomplished healer could bring me back? And yes, I did take part in Derwin's final scene. Or rather, I will. All a matter of perspective there, you see. But she shouldn't have tried to cut the act short. Derwin was the leading lady of our production. It was up to her to uncover the mysteries of Ebon Stadmont, to find the true potential of its hidden power. But she found a way to escape, and in her last breath told you the way back to the start. Sadly, yes, and so my part must end as well. I put on quite the performance, though, don't you think? The poor, confused soul, the dastardly villain, the mysterious sage. But I think you have a task to do, don't you? A dying wish to fulfill? Yes, our heroine should be just outside, if I remember correctly. After so many times around, though, I tend to lose track. Well, no need to get into all of that. I told you the very first time we met, I'm Fletch. I used to be a mere actor, but now I serve a greater force. I've served her for quite a while now, helping to find the true power of Ebon Stadmont. With Derwin's help, of course. What did Derwin call her? Ah, the Spirit of the Sanctum. An appropriate title as any. She rules over this forest. I think she always has, though I'm not quite sure. She needed the power here, you see. Ebon Stadmont was integral to her plans. Don't bother asking me. Mostly because I have no idea. I would have died had the spirit not saved me. And it wasn't too bad. A supporting role at best. I'd make sure the loop continued, make sure Derwin kept researching again and again. Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I barely understand, and I've lived through it. And it's done now, in any case. You made sure of that. But I think the spirit learned enough. It will have to do. The language here, of course. You see, it's all rather tricky. Only mortals are able to use the language. That's what allowed you to travel through time after all. And Derwin was the perfect candidate to uncover its secrets. Yes, all our heroine needed was the proper motivation. Derwin was trapped within the forest, unable to get out. Then she would hear a whisper, guiding, always guiding. And as Derwin used the language, my mistress would be watching.
There you are! How did you get inside without me seeing you? We finally made it to the temple. Oh, I just can't wait to see what secrets are inside. The temple is a trap? What do you mean? A book? Why, this is my handwriting. I've been trapped within this forest for decades now. Trapped within the past. My face is filled with wrinkles. My heart darkened with regrets. My life was stolen from me. Something trying to... My goodness. This is all so hard to wrap my head around. Yes, I agree. You've gone above and beyond protecting me during this expedition. Though the details seem a bit complicated, to think I would have been trapped here, I'd say our contract is concluded. Thank you for all you've done. I suppose I did succeed in this expedition. The notes you've given me are written by my hand after all. Though of course that me won't exist now since you've stopped me and I'm going to stop now. Before my head hurts. I'm sure these notes will give me more details. The best thing to do now is share our findings with the Mages Guild. Let them know how dangerous this forest truly is. As for me, I'll join back up with Tellinger. You know, it may be silly, but I suppose I came here to step out of his shadow. If I could be the one to crack Ebon Stadmont, well, perhaps that would be enough. And then I was trapped in the past to serve a mysterious being. Oh, I would have been. Tellinger is the one who makes brash decisions and puts us all in danger, and I'm the one who helps fix it. Yet as soon as I lead, I find myself in the same position as him. For now, I'd rather clean up his messes rather than make my own.
Well, it is a lovely view. Once you put aside all the strangeness.
I miss roasting pupil squibs over a fire. So sweet and airy, with a hint of crunch.
I suppose I did succeed in this expedition. The notes you've given me are written by my hand after all. Though of course that me won't exist now since you've stopped me and I'm going to stop now. Before my head hurts.
Don't let them throw you around like that!
Honestly, I think she plans to do something rash. She might even attack the guards. Ugh. Never.
Honestly, why can't you newcomers just return to your own lands? Weren't you happier there?
Ah, another newcomer. Delightful. What exactly can I do for you? What keen ears you have. You heard us discussing a private matter from way over there? Impressive. Perhaps you can put that inquisitive nature to good use. A newcomer, much like you, is stirring up trouble here in Lilandril. A member of the Mages Guild murdered a sapiarch, but now the murderer's friend is railing against the conviction, loudly. Poke some sense into her, would you? She might listen to another guest. You'll find her outside the Fighters Guild.
Who in oblivion are you? I left explicit instructions with the manager of this establishment that I was not to be disturbed under any circumstances. Let's keep our voice down, shall we? So, the Hulkind disappoints once again. How utterly expected. As the one who delivered my parcel, I suspect you'll want the reward. Have it, and be off with you. I'm astonished the Hulkind refused to complete this task himself. I'm sure honest work isn't easy to come by for one of his status. You do not, cannot understand the painstaking preparation, the ritual consumption, and the artful flavors of an Indrik heart. It is a delicacy fit for only the finest gourmets. The question itself betrays your unworthiness for such pleasures. Something more important than the obligation he had to me. Holkins have no sense of honor. It comes with being raised without a family, you know. That's why no one trusts them. I thought a fellow high elf would understand. Or are you another bleeding heart? A family sets expectations. Here in Summerset, all we do is for our family's honor. There's no hope for someone who doesn't have even that to guide them.
Stay strong, Emil. I'll get you out of this.
Secure the prisoner in the Fighters Guild. Off you go.
You're a member of the Mages Guild, aren't you? Please, you have to help me. The Sapiarchs accused one of our compatriots, my best friend, of a murder he didn't commit. They won't even consider the possibility that he's innocent. Another Sapiarch named Haladon. Emil arrived at the gates of Lilandril, carrying Haladon's body, and confessed to the crime. But he seemed shocked, confused. I know Emil better than anyone. He's not capable of something like this. I swear it. He's a pacifist, for Mara's sake. The Sapiarch's investigation was a joke. They just took Emil at his word and handed down the sentence. Of course, the local guild magister rolled over like she always does. Coward. Please, I need your help. The Sapiarchs say Emil confessed to murdering Haladon, but he'd never murder anyone. He loved Haladon. I don't know if he's confused or disoriented, but I do know he wouldn't do it. Please, talk to Emil. Convince him to recant his confession. Emil and I are both members of the Mages Guild chapter here in Lilandril, and students of the guild's chief diplomat, Kalawende. As for our relationship, Emil is my dearest friend. Has been since we were both in diapers. I don't know if he'll listen to anyone, but I don't have a choice. The Sapiarchs and Mages Guild consider the matter settled, and they've forbidden me from speaking to Emil further. No one has forbidden you to speak to him. You can still reach him. An order of High Elf scholars and mages. They walk the halls of power here in Summerset, observing and advising. Of course, there's a thin line between advising and ruling by proxy. They're not over fond of us guild mages. They think we're reckless. To the Sapiarchs, stepping in puddles is reckless. Not folding your linens is reckless. By their standards, my 90-year-old grandmother is wild as a foal in springtime. No, the guild values new ideas, novel approaches, but it's far from reckless. He and Emil were very close. If you'd asked me before all this happened, I'd have wagered that one or the other was shopping for a ring of Mara. They had common interests, but more than that, they had common values. Gods, what a tragedy. Restoration magic, wards against disease and curses, that sort of thing. They'd been researching ways to prevent lycanthropy, vampirism, and other afflictions. You see, the Emil I know dedicated his life to healing people, not murdering them. Absolutely not. Emil's gentle as a lamb, and Haladon didn't have a conniving bone in his body. The tension between the guild and the Sapiarchs weighed on them a bit, but not so much that it would drive them apart. Like I said, Emil is innocent.
If you insist on involving yourself in some vain investigatory charade, I won't stop you. But tread carefully. The Sapiarchs have little tolerance for amateur detectives. Who are you? Hand of Auriel, what has Queen Irene wrought? I am Sorataril, Sapiarch Master of Psychocartography, the mapping of orbic thought forms and dream phenomena. I also find myself saddled with the role of cultural attaché. I interact with all manner of strange and uncultured individuals, but yes, I maintain relations between my order and the Mages Guild's new arrivals. A trying enterprise. Please, if only for my sake, keep your business here peaceable, all right?
I heard what you did at the Guard, Traveler. Auriel, keep you safe.
I don't have anything to say to you or anyone else. Please, go. Yes. She's wrong. What? No, no! They already did an investigation. I murdered Haladon. It was me. Why are you inserting yourself into matters that don't concern you? I murdered a Sapiarch. I accept responsibility and my punishment. Go away. I don't want your help.
You there! Why are you interrogating Emil? I am Kalawende, Chief Diplomat of the Mages Guild. I apologize for my tone. This has been a trying time. The Sapiarchs consider this matter closed, you know. What are you doing exactly? Who sent you? Our interests may align. Vivine, look, I've uncovered something odd as well. The Sapiarchs have made it very difficult for me to intervene directly. Perhaps you can help. Emil met a shady merchant named Galador prior to the murder. That's very out of character for him. That's what I came here to find out. But it seems Emil doesn't want to talk. Galador has deep connections to Lilandril smugglers and thieves. If you learn what Emil purchased from Galador, we might gain some insight into Haladon's murder. Galador stores his business ledger in one of the inn's larger suites. Unfortunately, he placed a hex on the book, making it impossible to read without a passphrase. If you discover the passphrase, you should be able to learn what Emil purchased. My contacts tell me that Galador left the city on business. Goodness knows what time. No one will accost you while you investigate. Just be careful. It cannot become known the Mages Guild is investigating this matter after the Sapiarchs forbid it. She is tenacious. She often volunteers to help others. You won't find a more zealous advocate for the Mages Guild's goals and mission. In truth, I've never had a greater pupil, aside from Emil, of course. In my experience, people use talent as an excuse for idleness and lack of effort. Emil and Vivine both enjoy great natural ability, but Emil's focus on restoration magic indicates purer motives. He also works harder than anyone I know. Truthfully, I'd love to, but as a diplomat, I don't have that luxury. The Sapiarchs consider the matter settled, and officially our Mages Guild has accepted their ruling. I have a duty to preserve our relations with the Sapiarchs. It's exacerbated tensions that already exist. You're a high elf. You know how stodgy and inflexible our people can be. The Sapiarchs see this murder as evidence of guild negligence. Our members resent it, so we're caught in a downward spiral. Yes, the guard who found Emil, Miliron, the Sapiarchs classified him as a Ryazen, a critical witness. Anyone with close ties to Emil is forbidden to speak with him, but not you. I'll find out where they've hidden Miliron. You look into Galador. I trust you were successful. My own inquiries were fruitful. I've learned where we must go next in this investigation. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Did you manage to break Galador's wards? What did you find? Honestly, what would Emil want with sheep's blood? And syringes? I'd suspect blood magic or chemical addiction if I didn't know Emil. Neither of those items are illegal. He must have bought them from Galador to keep the purchase a secret. I'll try to figure out what Emil wanted with these items. Meanwhile, I found the guard who arrested Emil, Millerant. I'm forbidden to speak to him, but you are not. The Sapiarchs moved Millerant to Lilandril's docks. Find out what he knows. She is tenacious. She often volunteers to help others. You won't find a more zealous advocate for the Mages Guild's goals and mission. In truth, I've never had a greater pupil, aside from Emil, of course. In my experience, people use talent as an excuse for idleness and lack of effort. Emil and Vivine both enjoy great natural ability, but Emil's focus on restoration magic indicates purer motives. He also works harder than anyone I know. Truthfully, I'd love to, but as a diplomat, I don't have that luxury. The Sapiarchs consider the matter settled, and officially our Mages Guild has accepted their ruling. I have a duty to preserve our relations with the Sapiarchs. It's exacerbated tensions that already exist. You're a high elf. You know how stodgy and inflexible our people can be. The Sapiarchs see this murder as evidence of guild negligence. Our members resent it, so we're caught in a downward spiral.
welcome to Lalandril. Just off the boat. Lots of sailors coming and going. Just don't forget to submit your shipping manifests to the harbor master. Unless there's something else you need. Sad business, that. I was at my post when I saw Emil with a body slung over his shoulder. Once he reached the gate, he slid Haladan's corpse onto the ground and collapsed. He just knelt there sobbing, saying, "I killed him over and over." He didn't seem mad, if that's what you're asking, but he wasn't lucid either. When it comes to murderers, I've met more than my fair share. So you can trust me when I say Emil's no murderer. He might have killed Haladan, but it wasn't on purpose. Look, you need to promise me you'll keep this to yourself. Saltbreeze Cave is just south of here. Well-worn entrance, wizard's tools scattered about. I tried to tell the Sapiarchs about it, but your answers are in that cave. Guaranteed. This business with Emil was just too odd. Once the Sapiarchs convicted him, I had to find the truth of it. I took my coursing hound, Othelus, down to the gate and had him follow Haladan's blood trail. It led right to the mouth of that cave. No, Saltbreeze has a sour reputation. It used to be a popular haunt for the city youth to drink, sing, fornicate, that sort of thing. Then we lost a pair of lovebirds in a salamander attack. It's been abandoned ever since. At least we thought so. Of course they did. They'd already declared Emil guilty of the murder. Can't lose face over something like this. You got a confession, Milleron, just let it go. Humph. They're just anxious to be done with this whole affair. That's the other thing. Haladan looked like he'd been thrown off a cliff. Legs broken, blood leaking out of his ears, collapsed ribcage. You tell me how a wiry Breton could do that to someone. It doesn't make a whit of sense. Unless he can conjure up a stone club the size of an ox yoke, I just can't imagine it. I'll tell you to examine the body yourself, but the Sapiarchs already burned it. Convenient.
Who's there? Please don't hurt me. I mean you no harm. Emil? Is that you? Where is Haladan? Is he all right? Auriel, forgive me. Please listen carefully. Emil did not murder Haladan. I swear it. The two of them only sought to help me. I suffered from a mysterious affliction. Haladan and Emil infected me with vampirism to halt the disease's progress. Gods, no! I came here with my companion Gerwardel. By the time we arrived, her illness was terminal. Emil tried to administer the cure to her too, but she broke free and attacked Haladan. There was so much shouting. I thought maybe they escaped. Stone abominations. Vampiric alchemy. If the Sapiarchs found out that Haladan had a hand in this tragedy, they would strike his name from the histories. Emil would never let that happen.
Read Haladon's notes. You'll see the truth of it. Absolutely. Haladon and Emil loved each other deeply. It was obvious from the moment I arrived. Emil would never let something he did jeopardize Haladon's reputation. Were their roles reversed, Haladon would do the same thing. Guaranteed. I don't think you understand the Sapiarchs. It wouldn't be a simple matter of not praying over Haladon's grave. They would expunge his memory entirely. Every discovery he made, every scholarly paper, everything. It would be like he never existed. Undoubtedly. The Sapiarchs would probably dispatch a few vampire hunters to find me. But don't worry about that. I'll find a way to take care of myself. I believe so. The fog is gone. The flop sweats and sleepless nights with dreams of blood and stone. But the cost was high. Too high. Poor Haladon. And now there's the hunger. Yes, I can feel it creeping up the back of my throat. That thirst. It was just a tickle at first. Now, who knows how far it will go? Emil brewed this form of the virus alchemically. Maybe this will pass and I won't need to feed it all. I can hope. Never. Enough people have suffered on my account. Anyway, how would I find them? The shale skin disease claimed my sight before Emil had the chance to administer the treatment. I will find a way to survive without harming others. You have my word. My new condition does have a few benefits. My senses are keener now than they've ever been. I can hear the flutter of a moth's wings and smell lichens in the next room. It's enough. It will have to be enough. They called it osteochondritic fever, a rare virus that hardens the skin like stone and oyster shell. And as if that weren't bad enough, it also drives you insane. Gerwadel had already succumbed to the madness when she attacked Haladon. We were part of a merchant fleet that got blown off course, wound up beached on an island full of slowed mischief. Something in the air there, or perhaps the water. All of us were infected. So far as I know, I'm the only one that survived. Truthfully, because he was the kindest, most generous mayor I've ever known. We were childhood friends, you see. When I wrote to him about my condition, he didn't even hesitate. He just bid me come to Lilandra, no questions asked. Hurry to Lilandra, prove Emil's innocence. I'll find my way. Somehow.
You're back. Did you find any evidence that might exonerate Emil? You must have found something.
What did Guard Milleron have to say? Were you able to discover anything that might shed light on Haladon's murder?
You again. I told you, I don't want to talk about this. I'm guilty. What? No. No, you're mistaken. No. You can't believe her. She's lying. I attacked Haladon. I killed him. You're making this up. No one will believe it. No. Please, you must burn those notes. If the Sapiarchs learn what Haladon and I did, he'll be ruined. Disgraced. All his work will be for nothing. And Norasea. Mara, save me. Poor Norasea. They'll kill her. Please,
You must keep this a secret.
By Magnus, if what you say is true, Emil's innocent. You seem hesitant. Don't get bogged down in the details of his experiments. The important thing is that he didn't murder Haladon. You have to take this to the Sapiarchs. She's a vampire. I grew up in Shornhelm, and I know how dangerous they are. They drink people's blood for Mara's sake. Look, I pity Norasea, but we can't destroy Emil's life over one bad decision. Setting a vampire free is reckless. You know that. Haladon's dead, and if he truly loved Emil, he would gladly suffer humiliation to keep his beloved out of prison. You know that. As for the Guild endures. We'll be fine. Just do the right thing.
Poor Emil. He meant well. But these are shocking revelations. I never thought he'd be so reckless. Creating a potion to deliberately infect someone with vampirism? By the eight. If this gets out, the Sapiarchs may never trust us again. I care for Emil, but I have a whole guild to consider. We've brought many outsiders to Summerset, and our relations here are tenuous at best. Even if Emil didn't murder Haladon, creating a potion this hazardous is still grounds for exile. I spoke to Sapiarch Sarataril. If Emil makes a full confession, the Sapiarchs will let us handle the details of his imprisonment. I've arranged for Emil to return to Stormhaven. A familiar setting, sympathetic guards. It's the best I can do. No, but then there are many forms of freedom. Wouldn't you agree? Emil will have access to our vast library and ample opportunity to write and publish. He can still play a vital role in the advancement of the arcane arts. You have my word.
There's nothing to consider. Even if I didn't kill Haladon, the vampirism was my idea. He never would have agreed to it if I hadn't pushed him. Haladon meant more to me than you'll ever know. His memory is all I have left. Don't ruin it. Please. Oh, Mara bless you. Losing Haladon was awful. I still see his bloody face with my waking eyes. The only thing keeping me sane is the knowledge that I might spare his reputation and the friend he dearly loved. Thank you for this kindness.
You have new evidence to present? Very well. I trust your investigation was thorough and unbiased? Or rather, as thorough and unbiased as an itinerant newcomer can manage. What new evidence do you wish to enter into the official record? Well, that is a surprise. As farcical as your investigation might have been, I appreciate your willingness to side with the facts. It does much to restore my opinion of the Mages Guild in Lilandril. I've already spoken with the Guild diplomat, Kalawende. We resolved to send Emil back to Stormhaven. Leaving a Breton to rattle around in a high elf prison would reflect poorly on all of us. Better to imprison him among his own kind. Mercifully, yes. The Mages Guild promised to imprison Emil for the rest of his brief Breton life. I have no reason to doubt their sincerity, given your honesty today. Let us put this matter behind us. The Guild and the Sapiarchs must move forward. Now then, I see no reason to delay Emil's exile. I will formalize his conviction today, have him turned over to the Mages Guild shortly thereafter. This sordid affair has caused enough pain. I'll not draw it out. Your honesty and Kalawende's willingness to accede to our demands give me hope for the future. The Mages Guild suffers from all the vices of youth, but perhaps, with our help, it can grow into an organization worthy of its proud High Elf heritage.
How can you condemn an innocent man to prison? He's obviously out of his mind with grief. I'd find a way to exonerate him myself if I thought anyone would listen. Damn your eyes! And the Sapiarchs!
I know this wasn't easy. Condemning an innocent man to prison makes me nauseous. But sometimes sacrifices have to be made for the greater good. As odd as it sounds, I think your decision brought Emil some measure of peace. Thank you.
No, that won't do. The color must be vibrant. Finally, the courier. I expected you hours ago. You must acquire my materials at once. And don't think I'll compensate you for the rush, given you're the one who was late. Oh, well, I can hardly keep track of every face I hire. An artist's work is endless. I need colors. Rich, rare, vibrant. After all, this painting will be the masterpiece of my career. I simply cannot work with mediocre shades. Reagents, ingredients, naturally, of course. I require that you gather the supplies needed to make the vivid paint this masterwork requires. Just take this list. Oh, and this tea, of course. You'll need it to acquire the first item. Now hurry along. I really do need you to hurry along. Inspiration could strike me at any moment, and I simply must have the perfect colors when that time comes. Oh, of course, you're a fan. Well, I'm not surprised my popularity precedes me. I'm sure it's not every day that you meet an artist of my caliber. As long as it doesn't delay you for too long, you may ask me some questions. From what I gather, Summerset views its artists rather differently than the rest of Tamriel. It's one of the few ways to rise above your family's station and enter the world of the elite. This masterpiece shall be my final step. Oh, no. Being a renowned artist is a station all its own, and a highly respected one at that. From this generation forth, my descendants shall say my name with reverence. What more could one ask for? I'm known for my art, yes, but I need something to set me apart. A painting that shall hang for centuries, worshipped by those who gaze upon it. To do so, I need breathtaking, resplendent colors, vivid, powerful, emotional. Hamelin's dye produces the most gorgeous teal you'll ever see. The Yokuden tea I've given you should be a good enough trade. Brodron's bug carcasses create grays with flashes of silver. He's already received payment, so just tell him my name. The Aurealis! Oh, such a glowing orange it produces. Beautiful enough to bring tears to your eyes. The flowers are rare, but I happen to know a hilltop where they still grow. I've marked all the locations for you in the note.
Hard at work, Team Doria? How goes your finger painting?
Ah, Verilel. I see you've deigned to step out of your florid abode. Come to see how a real artist creates.
I'd enlighten you with a response, but we both know my skill speaks for itself.
Why,
Why, you're certainly skilled at boasting. If only you had the artistic sense Auriel gave a mudhopper, you might produce something of worth.
Your tongue remains as sharp as your wits. When I'm declared the royal court's newest artist, I'll be sure to send you an invitation to dinner.
What a kind offer, though I'm sure that won't be necessary. After all, we both know that I'll be the one to acquire that position.
So, you volunteered to collect Tindoria's arduous list of artistic materials? How exciting. Do try not to get eaten by anything unpleasant. Who am I? Honestly, I'm shocked you haven't heard of me. My works of brilliance are desired across all Summerset. My name reverberates throughout the land on the lips of nobles and commoners alike. An artist? No. I am the artist. I assure you, my confidence is well earned. Unlike poor Tindoria, she tries her best, but those with an eye for these sorts of things know the truth. She lacks a certain something. Hate, that's quite a strong term. Why, we're simply friendly rivals. It's always been that way ever since we trained together under Hainamil. Truly, I relish our time together. I'm simply the better artiste.
I really do need you to hurry along. Inspiration could strike me at any moment, and I simply must have the perfect colors when that time comes.
If you've come to rob me, I'm afraid I have little of value. I can help if you've a high fever or nervous stomach, but I have no need for gold these days. Healthy paranoia, I suppose. There's plenty of questionable characters out here, but I prefer it to the crowded cities. Too many mer going on about their appearance or their status or their career. I'm done with such trivialities. Oh, it's been a long time since my former student has contacted me, and now she makes such demands. How quickly she forgets who trained her to hold a paintbrush. I have no need for gold. You can tell her that upon your empty-handed return. This is Yokudan blue tea? I thought it lost forever. The last shipment was said to have sunk to the bottom of the Abyssan Sea. Oh, she's still clever, isn't she? Her and Veralel always were. Very well, take my mixture. It's a good trade. Yes, back when I had the inclination to bother with such upstarts, I thought that would be my legacy, to train great artists who would blossom under a careful eye. Sadly, all they did was rot in their own hubris. The life of a Summerset artist is not easy. It's not enough to be merely great. You have to be better. Both Tindoria and Verarel wilted under that pressure. I blame myself for agreeing to tutor them together. Their rivalry seemed harmless at first, even friendly, just something to keep them motivated. But as it tends to be, one of them was always a step ahead. Soon any praise I had for one would pierce the pride of the other. And now they've both grown bitter and endlessly jealous of the other's success. They believe Summerset only has room for one great artist. Such foolishness. Honestly, it was their squabbling that led me to stop taking students.
Hey there! Careful where you step. My livestock is having their dinner, and I won't have some bumbler stomping all over them. I've got enough trouble with their mating woes. These bugs happen to be the most desirable olive lint to crawl upon Summerset. When ground up, my beauties make the most brilliant shade of grey you ever did see. Why, I even got the artist Tindoria as a client. Oh, well, I did. What a shame. I always took her for one of the good ones. Never tried to cheat me or say I wasn't welcome. Always complimented my beauties when she visited. The ideal customer every time. To think that she would go so far as to sabotage my livestock. Because it turns out she's just like every other high elf on this island. I refused to sell my carapaces to her exclusively, and this is what happens. Verilel was just heartbroken when I had to turn him away. Yes, and he had quite a bit to say about Tindoria. He told me just last week she was complaining about my services. And I heard this wouldn't be the first time she's done something shady. By Ifra, to think I was so blind.
This wasn't my idea, honest. I just did what I was paid to. Just let me go and I'll tell you everything. Oh, I don't know. Some sort of pheromone? It makes those nasty bugs sleepy, but that's it, I swear. It's not poison or anything. Why did I ever agree to work for that snobby artist? What? No, a fellow named Verilel. Nasty perfume, full of himself, typical artist. He paid me to sabotage this farm. Not quite sure why, but, well, I think it's about time I leave. No need to tell the authorities, right? That's it. This is the last time I get caught up in artist rivalries.
I trust your search was as fruitless as mine? He did? Well, honestly, I would love to believe that. Tindoria's support was the only thing I had going for my business for a long while. But what would Verilel have to gain from all this? That's true. Tindoria and Verilel have been rivals for as long as they've been artists. I even let that bastard convince me Tindoria was the one who did it. Ah, these artists and their rivalries. It's always us little people who are made to suffer. Here, take the last of my stock. I'm sorry I ever took the word of that perfumed pansy over Tindoria. Just glad I'm able to get her this shipment. That gentleman never did me a bit of harm.
Well, someone had to kill her. Vereda didn't just up and die at the tender age of 28.
Stop squawking, you fat netch! You're just as likely the one that killed her.
I did this then? When you're the one greedier than a starving hawker?
This is going nowhere. We'll never find the treasure if we keep killing each other.
You walk in here on 3 skeevers arguing over a dead body and decide you want to chat with one of them? You either got some kind of guts or you're some kind of stupid. Either way, maybe you can help. A family squabble of sorts. You see, one of these ghosties went and killed Vereda. Problem is, none of us are about to go treasure hunting with a murderer at our back. When killing for gold, you don't stop at one. Or so I hear. Ancestor of ours, Jadil the Keelhauler, cached her loot around here. If you grab the chest for us, there's no chance for a sneak attack. The map over there will lead you right to it. And obviously, I'll pay you for the trouble. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Look at these squabbling fools. Why don't I just take the treasure myself? Tough like that. The only thing that will crack the chest open is the blood of Jadil's descendant. Thus, you'll need one of us. I'm known as Igeki Ratbite. It would serve you well to not forget that name, given that I'll one day have a legacy as epic as Jadil herself. You saw my face, right? I got bit by a rat. It was a big rat. Don't worry, it's dead now. She was an explorer, sailed from Atmora all the way to Yakura, despite half her crew falling mad along the way. She discovered new lands, new cultures. Shame so few hear of her. Her greatest adventure was raiding the palace of King Ognum himself. Right you are. Fled beyond Anea after, quick as a flash. Pa said the whole Merrimore fleet came after her. Eventually, they chased her right to this cove. She fled to the shore, clutching a single chest of treasure. Buried it before making her way back home. The blood of my blood willingly given. That's how the enchantment goes. You see, Jadil wanted to settle down, have a few brats of her own. So, the story was passed along, waiting for a descendant adventurous enough to set sail.
Another one? You there! Come here! I bet you've come here for an Aurealis bloom. Well, tough luck. Fresh out. Last one was nabbed a fortnight ago. Come back in about a year. Maybe I'll have another one by then. Why else would you come here? The view? You know, once you could get an Aurealis anywhere. Now it's all but gone. Blotted out of existence by the greed of artists. You heard me. As soon as they learned it made a pretty paint, that was it. Didn't care that it takes over a year to grow, and that's only with proper care. No, they had to have it. And so they took, and now there's nothing left. What are you, deaf? Or just scared to go back empty-handed? Look, I told you that plant is gone. Go find another bloom for your fancy painting. Off with you now. Just leave me and my garden be. Would you leave that alone? You'll damage it. What are you doing? Stop that! Hey there! Leave that alone! Please, leave that Aurealis alone! You can't take it! What is wrong with you? Why couldn't you just continue on your way? Of course I did. Why would I let you have one of the last, if not the last, surviving blooms? If you take that plant, the species may be wiped out for good. Did you ever, in your obsession with paint, think about what you're taking from Summerset? Yes! That's what I've been saying all along. You're about to uproot what could be the last Aurealis on Summerset and grind it up for some painting. How could you do something so horrible? You really want to take the chance? I'm telling you, I've searched all over this island. This is the only one I could find. In less than a year, it will spread seeds. I'll nurture them, help rekindle the species. Please, just don't do this. Finally, someone who sees reason. Thank the stars. And thank you too, kind traveler. After the last visitor, I was just about ready to give up hope that I'd ever meet a kindred soul. Oh, but damn that Verilel. I'd have 2 blooms if not for him. Yes, Verilel. The blasted artist who took the last Aurealis bloom I cultivated. That's why I was so desperate to save the only surviving plant.
So, were you able to find Jadir's treasure? Huh. I always imagined it a tad bigger. Well, if it's stuffed with diamonds, I guess it doesn't much matter what size the box is. Thanks for grabbing it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to crack this beauty open. Now, let's see what we're working with here.
Can't you bleed any faster, Igeki?
Indeed! My being roils with anticipation!
What the? There's just a scroll in here! I sailed across many seas and raided many ships, but the most precious treasure is family. May you see the wisdom in these words.
What? I came all this way for nothing? I can't believe I poisoned Vereda for a stupid scroll!
Hold a moment. You killed Vereda? But I was the one who strangled her right after she fell asleep.
Neither of you are making any sense. I stabbed her, right after we doused the fire.
Wait, did we all kill Vereda to get a bigger share of the treasure?
Ha! I suppose betrayal runs in the family. To think that Jadil planned for this outcome from the very start! Who knew the old girl had such a flair for the dramatic? I wonder if she ever thought of joining the theater. I am called Drokagir, after my father. He was a man of girth, you see. Mother required some way to separate us, and so the epithet Lesser was given to me. Of course, you'll find most to be a lesser man than Drokagir the Lesser, especially when it comes to acting. Yes, most ardently so. I've graced many of Skyrim's stages. Once I've obtained my wealth, I'll visit the House of Reveries. I suspect they'll demand I join them once they've caught wind of my talent.
I suppose that's why Jadil gave up a life of piracy. She decided a loving family was more important than riches or treasure. What an idiot. They call me Soberstorn. And yes, I realize that is an odd name for a Nord. Make no mistake, I still enjoy a strong brew. There was another Storn in my village. Stone drunk at all hours of the day. He once fell in a mead tank and had to drink his way out. Practically a village hero after that. I was just sober in comparison.
I can't believe I ever looked up to this loony crone. To think she would trick us all just for some stupid moral lesson. I just hope such lunacy doesn't run in the family. An explorer? No. I wanted to be a filthy rich pirate captain. I was going to use the treasure to put together a ship and crew. But thanks to Jadil and her bleeding heart, I suppose that's not going to happen. A life of scrubbing decks and taking orders, no thanks. You know, killing Vereda was pretty easy. Maybe I'll join the Dark Brotherhood. I just have to catch their attention, right? Yeah, I think I could do that.
Never used to fight this much.
never take your will, mortal fools! A single battle isn't a war, mortal.
Hold, courier. I would like to have a word, if you would. You know, I've heard quite a bit about your little venture to acquire Tindoria's supplies for her latest sketch, and I must say I'm impressed. You've certainly proven capable. I have a proposition for you. Sell those supplies to me instead. Well, I could speak to how those supplies would be used in the service of art that touches the soul of mer and man. But I feel my words would not move you, so let's try another venue, shall we? I'll double whatever payment Tindoria has offered. Me do such a thing? As I told dearest Brodrin, it was Tindoria who sought to drive him to ruin. Why, I adore the little woodland elf. Tindoria has tricked you, my friend. Then someone she paid to incriminate me, no doubt. This game we play is one with many twists. Tindoria has simply made sure to be one step ahead this time. Sell me those supplies, and I'll even make sure to compensate Brodrin for the trouble. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? Such wonderful colors wasted on such a forgettable piece. I am a purveyor of the divine, my friend. Cannot blame me for trying. Off with you, then. I shall defeat my rival the old-fashioned way, with talent.
At last you return, and with my reagents! Come, I simply must see them. My genius is like a stallion waiting to be set free. Complication? A fine way to refer to Veyralel. Oh, don't look so surprised. I can still smell that insufferable perfume of his. Yet here you are, which tells me you must have seen through his charade. Now, what of my supplies? Extinct? How could such a common plant go extinct? Just last week I saw some. Oh, wait a moment, was that last month? Last year? Oh, how the time flies when you're creating. No matter. Fine, I can work without it. I will, however, dock your pay. Oh, that scoundrel! Brodrin is a good mer, and he loves those bugs like his own children. This is intolerable news. How will I do without my sea grey? No, I cannot allow this. I will send Brodrin alone to cover this year's livestock. Oh, wonderful! I hoped she'd like it. I do wish she'd return to the city instead of living in that backwater swamp. Though perhaps something good can be said for her isolation, as she's created such a lovely teal. And here is your payment, as contracted. I am pleased you chose to honor our arrangement instead of siding with that scoundrel. Oh, I see it now! You're the perfect subject for my masterpiece! Your shining loyalty, your pure heart. Perfect! Your visage upon my canvas shall be viewed for centuries, I'm sure. Why, maybe one day it will be featured in a gallery with the Queen herself. It's really very generous of me. You're quite welcome. Oh, just a quick sketch then, to capture your essence. I simply must make sure I get the eyes right. There, that should serve well enough.
Enough, Silery. These mysterious deaths are our business to solve, not yours.
Little busy at the moment. You know, now's not the time to be wandering around, what with the gruesome killings and clueless investigators. Could wind up dead, or answering questions until you wish you were. From what I gather, soldiers at Caton Keep have been disappearing in the night, only to have their desiccated bodies show up days later. The garrison's completely spooked. I came to look into it, but the Divine Prosecution beat me here. We don't exactly see eye to eye when it comes to hunting baddies, so now they're going to spend weeks questioning soldiers and measuring footprints, while more people get turned to jerky. Actually, maybe you could help me with that? I really thought I was going to have to do a lot more convincing. Helping strangers break into keep's a hobby of yours. Odd hobby. What I really need is a distraction. If you can keep Lindefway at the gate, busy for a minute, I can handle the rest. I have a document saying I'm an inspector sent by the Proxy Queen to investigate. But since Lindefway and everyone else in there knows that's not true, I can't use it. You, though. Show it to Lynn, act all high society, and waltz right in. Doesn't matter. It'll buy me time to sneak past either way. If you do get inside, all the better. We can partner up. I'm sure you'll do fine. It helps if you imagine a really big stick up your spine. Straight back. Perfect. All right, Royal Inspector. Off you go. Just talk like you've never interacted with an actual person at any point in your life. We'll put a stop to these killings, and maybe not even get arrested. Fun, right? The Divine Prosecution are great at stopping crime and rooting out sedition. But stuff like this, things that go bump in the night, that's when you need a specialist. I'm very special. It's a hobby. Well, more of a lifelong calling that leaves me little time for hobbies, but I'm doing what I love, and in my own way, and I'm really good at it. Not that the Divine Prosecution would ever admit it. The Divine Prosecution cordoned off the area, and like I said, they're not big fans of me. I may have been a bit indelicate when I suggested they collectively had the hunting sense of a blind cliff racer. These things happen. They keep the peace in Summerset, mostly by making sure no one steps out of line. When something's amiss, they investigate and kick the problem in the teeth, if need be. Too dogmatic, though. Who cares about procedure when lives are on the line? Only slightly, and the Order has bigger concerns at the moment. Once it's clear you're not a suspect, I'm sure they'd let you off with a stern warning. But we're not going to get caught, right?
This keep has been ordered sealed by the Divine Prosecution, pending the completion of our investigation. Please be on your way. That's interesting, because investigating these killings is obviously the jurisdiction of the Divine Prosecution, so something tells me you're full of Griffin guano. Give me one reason why I shouldn't hold you for questioning. Let me see those. It looks official. I don't know who you are, but this investigation is clearly under our purview. This is about politics, isn't it? Always politics. Of course you can't. Fine, go inside. I won't stand in your way. but stay out of mine.
You must have clenched pretty hard to sell those forged papers to the likes of Lynn. Relax before you sprain something. Now all we have to do is find and kill a murderous Daedra that's evaded capture for weeks. Easy, right? Most killers don't suck out all your organs and leave a corpse with the consistency of stale bread. Mortal ones, anyway. And neither do vampires, for that matter. Aside from that, I have my methods of sniffing out Daedra. Well, when you expose the stem of an attuned Wilderking rod to air that someone breathed in the presence of a Daedra, it glows orange. Also, my latest Guablood scribing said, you know what, just watch and learn. I'm getting to that. Don't rush me. Just stand back and don't radiate any palpable evil, all right? This is a little trick I picked up in Coral. Stendar, shine your righteous light on those that would flee your justice. Show me where evil lurks, and I will deliver retribution. 2 lights. There's not supposed to be... All right, whatever. I'll follow this one. Follow that light and see where it leads you. Then meet me inside the refectory. Go, go! Let go of me, damn it. You don't understand.
Ah, the accomplice. Welcome. Two arrests in one day. This is going to reflect well on my next report. Oh, did you? Well, let me see it then. The Insatiable, is it? Who writes this rubbish? Grisly rubbish at that. I'll admit the methods are similar to our case, but this still doesn't prove the presence of an actual Daedra. Where did you find this? I was never informed of any architectural eccentricities, something the garrison will answer for, so that spell might have some merit. Silery claims it was leading her to a Daedra hiding in the cellar. Are you willing to stake your freedom on that? To be clear, when all is said and done with this, I'm arresting you anyway. But I'll indulge this line of inquiry. If you're right, I'm sure your cooperation will reflect favorably in your trial. Fleeing will not. Am I understood? Release her.
But, sir!
Now.
This is a mistake. We're all done being idiots? Good. Let's find this Daedra.
This is going to end badly.
Now, children, this might be fun. I've not hunted a Daedra in decades.
This light will reveal the Daedra. Be ready.
More outsider magic. Reckless Silery.
Have a little faith, High. It's tracking something.
A dead end. How embarrassing.
No! After her!
Can't say I didn't warn them. Come on!
Fan out! That thing can't have gone far.
Fan out? Why? I thought you didn't believe me. Check down the hall. I'll see what I can find up ahead.
Wait your turn, morsel. You'll meet the insatiable soon enough.
They're coming for us.
Well, I think we might be on the right track. Well, I think we might be on the right track. Ow. Our Daedra summoner, no doubt. No one I recognize. Begs questions, but that can wait. Give chase and find Lindefway. Silery went after her, but there was an awful lot of screaming. Through those doors. Down where we keep the wine. This place, it's Katan, but different. I'm probably not making much sense, am I? Helping the others falls to you now. Terribly sorry about that.
Way into the real world. I'll hold it as long as I can. Chew on that for a while, gutsucker.
Do you want to brag about that, or should I?
You saved me.
Don't look so surprised. Come on, let's get out of here.
You live? This won't do. This won't do.
The summoner, she's getting away. Lynn, can you hold this portal open?
Why? Where are you going?
Find that mage and kick her ass. I'm going back for High.
You'll be trapped. Why does she never listen? I can't hold it. Damn it! That was such a stupid, reckless. Damn it, Silery. I can't let her lord this over me. We have to save them. She must be hiding in these ruins. Wait, I know where we are. These ruins are right under the nose of Katan Keep. Silery and I explored here as children. We always did love mysteries. Our mothers hated it. We'd come home covered in clay. So, the mage got into Katan Keep through here somehow. Was that her reason for coming here? We still don't know our suspect, her motives, barely anything really. Gods, this investigation has really gotten away from me. A conspiracy? Now that's something I can grasp. The tone of this letter suggests our perpetrator can't afford to simply go into hiding. We're backing her into a corner. That'll make her desperate. What's that? I just felt a ripple of magicka, like the opening of those portals, but much larger. I think the others are in danger. It came from that way, across the bridge. Hurry! But this is definitely the epicenter of the magic I felt. There's still power clinging to this Aldma altar. It must be the bridge she is using to travel to and from the realm of that thing. Theoretically, from what little I know about opening portals to Daedric realms, there's typically an object here, in Tamriel, that is attuned to the place in question. This Aldma altar is the only thing I'm getting a strong feeling from. Not as it is. If this is a bridge, then Tyranniel has barred and locked the gates. We need to undo her spell, then I should be able to recreate the ritual to open the way for us. In my experience, most cultists tend to just ape whatever spells and rituals someone else developed. That letter you showed me mentioned books from her benefactor. You found one for Daedra's summoning. It stands to reason there's another for this. Well, that was dramatic. That's it! It reeks of that monster's realm. I'll hold it open. Go. Ugh, it feels like worms wriggling through my soul. I can do this. I can do this. What are you waiting for? Go!
Again? I won't let you ruin my... I'll feed your corpse to the insatiable.
I'm all right. Somehow.
This way! Quickly! I can't hold this open for long.
Well, I've had my fill of this place. Let's excuse ourselves before any more dinner guests arrive.
Thanks for stopping that Daedra-loving loony from sucking out my soul. You took a big risk sticking your neck out for us. But what are recent acquaintances for, right? Guess I owe Lynn, too. Not going to live that down. We'll be fine. It's not the first time someone has tried to drain and devour my soul. Happens more often than you'd think, actually. Hazards of the job. As for Hai, I think he's secretly enjoying all this excitement. She was raving about her work not being done, and how she was going to use our desiccated husks to restore the insatiable. I sort of tuned it out at a certain point, but got the impression she wasn't doing all this for her own amusement. Though, what now? Nope, forget I asked. Save it for Hai. He's way more interested in all this intrigue nonsense. I'll stick to gut-punching hungry monsters. Looks like someone got bitten by the hunting bug on this little adventure. Savor your victory, killer. Keitan Keep is safe again thanks to you. Judging by these results, I should rope random strangers into my work more often. Kidding, kidding. Now that the immediate danger's passed, I will want to get back to combing through the details of what transpired here. It'll be really boring, like, really boring. But since you got us back on speaking terms, I'll help Lynn and Hai investigate. Hey, don't go rubbing my nose in it. It wasn't easy fighting off Daedra with Hai slumped over my shoulder. You'd think he'd make a better shield with that hard head of his. That mage got the drop on us while we were licking our wounds. You'll want to talk to Hai about that, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. The divine prosecution doesn't welcome outside perspectives with open arms. If you think Hai and Lynn can be stuffy, you should see their superiors. Well, Lynn and I grew up around here. We always had a knack for sticking our noses where they didn't belong, so the divine prosecution was a natural fit. For her, anyway. Too rigid for me, so I left. There were some hard feelings. He's our mentor. Was my mentor. Loves his work, and he's a good person, but he clings too tightly to protocol. He took the brunt of the abuse from our superiors when I was out of line. I thought he'd have been happy when I resigned my commission. No, Hai and Lynn were always more than colleagues to me. We were friends. We'll stick by each other, but the divine prosecution has a long way to go before they'd take back the likes of me. Not that I'd want to go back anyway.
I'm not good at apologies, but I'm sorry for doubting you, Ensilery. Maybe, just maybe, we were wrong to reject her choice to pursue foreign magic. While her methods are unorthodox, they get results. She was always trying to convince our superiors that there was value to the methods other cultures used against crime and heresy. She'd be in a cell if Hierkeel hadn't always stuck his neck out for her, and she just turned her back on him. On us. After a spat with the Chief Justicia about a case we were working, she threw down her oath and stormed out. She never even said goodbye. I didn't think I'd ever forgive her for that, and honestly, I haven't. But I know she still cares. I know. I would have lost them both today if not for you. It's a hard thing to forgive, much harder than to judge. Gods, no! This has been a civilized place for as long as I can remember. Our days were mostly settling petty disputes and policing troublesome speech. now, there's all sorts of madness about. I fear it'll get worse before it gets better. Immigrants are flooding to Summerset, and even the most well-intentioned trample our customs with astounding ignorance. We saved a lot of lives with what we did today, but we left centuries of procedure in shambles. Then we have the conspiracy afoot. Court of Bedlam? I'd wager their leader must have studied drama at the House of Reveries. You should bring this to Hierkeel. I'm certain he'll want to know more. So I did. Silery was never one for idle study, and she's always had a forceful personality, so she used to drag me out exploring, searching for mysteries and being a general nuisance. It grew on me. Our favorite spot was those secluded ruins. Alma ruins are never short on tough mysteries to crack. Our theories were dreadful, but we could lose entire days on our investigations. It was also the perfect place not to be found if we didn't want to be. I can see why it appealed to Tyranniel.
You broke more than a dozen statutes with your antics today. Regulations state that I should place you under arrest, but I'm thinking we haven't been following much procedure today anyway. Thank you for your assistance in this investigation. I should have, shouldn't I? She was once among the best members of the Divine Prosecution, but too cavalier for most, and far too interested in unconventional methods for our superiors' tastes. For my tastes. She believed the prosecution would be better served by employing methods devised outside of Summerset. Foreign ideas, foreign magic. She faced censure many times. Frustrated, Silery left the Order to strike out on her own. Won't let me off that easy, eh? Right. I didn't believe her because I didn't want to believe she was right. Because I still resented her selfishness in walking out on her duty. And on us. Nindefwe and I didn't agree with her, but we stuck by her. She was right. We are stubborn and stolid. If we continue to believe our way is the only way, we're going to be unprepared for the changes ahead. The Queen's decree will bury us. Convincing the Divine Prosecution of that, it'll be a long, hard road. Closed, for now. Lindefwe bridged us here for our safety. I imagine Tyranniel did something similar to enter Katan Keep undetected. A dreadfully potent ability in the wrong hands, as we've seen. The books you found will need to be sealed away. Its purpose wasn't to open the portal, though its power does pose some concerns. It would be hearsay to destroy an Aldmer artifact, but I will recommend that those ruins be patrolled regularly from now on.
Thank you for heeding my call, newcomer. I don't suppose your passage to Summerset brought you past Weston Coraldale? My father, Kurtaros, runs a boat in an angler fleet. They're long overdue, and while his stride tends to be a leisurely one, I've never seen the whole fleet gone for so long. I'm probably over-concerned. The weather's been fair and the wind's mild. Perhaps their fishing has been so fruitful they dare not waste their good fortune. But I'd feel better if I knew what to make of their delay. The fleet set off west. Western Coraldale is an island engulfed by coral reefs, but you can reach it safely in that sailboat. I'd go with you, but I'm afraid I don't share my father's comfort with open water. Not especially. I've never been myself, but Father's only remarked about the occasional ornery coral crab or hungry salamander. The reefs are the only real hazard, but only to a ship of considerable size and flimsy make. Oh, there's not much to tell. He's plied the sea for its bounty for as long as I can recall, and that's some time, mind you. We eat well, and he makes a fair bit of coin with his best catches, but sometimes I wish he'd keep a bit more lively.
Not since I was very young. My father took me fishing once, showed me how to bait a hook, coax a bite and work the line until the catch tires out. It wasn't meant to be an eventful trip, but it turned out that way. Father dozed off, so I continued to apply what I'd learnt without him. Soon enough, I'd hooked my first catch. Or rather, it hooked me. Yanked me clear off the boat and into the deep. I was too shocked to let go of the rod, nearly drowned. Yes, fished me out of the drink, quite literally. He still calls me his prized catch. It's funnier when you're not coughing up seawater.
Well, who's there? Quiet down, you'll spook the fish. Never seen you before? Guess no one told you that this is my spot. Been my spot nearly a century. And it'll be my spot a century more, God's willing. So don't go getting any ideas. Plenty of space down the coast. So, off with you now. Huh. Fancy that. I told Hiranessa for years those sea elves would mount an invasion from Waston Coraldale. Figures they'd launch it while I was having a nap. Well, come along then. Best send them off before they hook all the best catches. Of course. Any Royal Marine of the Queen's Navy worth their salt would. Might have traded my saber for a fishing rod, but I've still got my sea legs, and I'm still as sharp as the day I mustered. The others I sail with are civilians, though. Aye. Even if they caught a glimpse of a sea elf cutter before it reached Waston Coraldale, there's no chance a fishing boat would have outrun it. If anyone from the fleet's still alive out there, it's our duty to help them. Best we split up. Unless my creaking knees give me away, I ought to be able to handle some scouting while you're searching for survivors. We'll rendezvous at the old lover's tree near the reef on the eastern shore. My friends will know the one. Unless I'm caught. Won't be much use to the sea elves as a prisoner, but I'll black an eye or two before I greet my maker. Tell her my children are grown and my wants are few. But I cannot say the same for my friends. I've had a good life. I don't mind trading what's left of it, so others might have the same. 3 aside from myself: Imdolina, Aldoterel, and Carterel. Not much of a fleet when you compare it to the Royal Armada, but we're the scourge of anything with guilds. Hope you find them safe and sound. Too quiet. If one of them had reached the mainland, the Royal Navy would have sent ships to intercept these sea elves by now. No one knows they're here except us. Enemy movement. Numbers, positions, assess our situation. I hope to have a plan by the time you've finished your search.
Stranger, don't anger the salamanders. They're the only thing keeping those sea elves from wandering too close. What are you doing out here? I've never seen you before. You're sure we're talking about the same Kurtaros? The one I know is more likely to be mistaken for dead and sleep right through this whole mess.
crouching is damnation on my back. But I've seen everything I need to know what the enemy's up to. How fares the search? Any sign of Carterel? Never do when it comes to these sea elves. They'll rob us of more than a few good souls before all is said and done here. They're digging in, placing ballistae along the shore. When the Royal Navy finally does mount an attack, they'll be taking fire from Maormer on both land and sea. It'll be a bloodbath, unless some misfortune befalls their plans. Catch my drift? I'm not suggesting we repel the whole invasion, but I do know my way around a ballista. If we turn one toward their own ships and cause enough of a stir, we can draw on a friendly patrol and catch the sea elves out of their element. I'll get into position and await your attack. Then we'll give those sea snakes a good spearing while these two make for your vessel. You do have a vessel, don't you? All right, you two go prepare the boat our friend brought. We'll provide a distraction. Trinamac's wrath be with us.
Seals. Fond of winged snakes and soggy chests. Noted. Ah, fleshy, thick-thumbed biped. Hello. You're an elf, right? Or is it a man? I'm sorry. I have some difficulty telling you people apart. You're much less blue than the others. In color, I mean, not disposition. Anyway, what can I do for you? Josiah. Wait, you're talking about that jittering mage I tricked into freeing me, right? Oh, she's a delight. I had hoped for a longer holiday. Can only manage a leap like this once a century, after all. I will. I'm actually quite comfortable here, mate. Cozy accommodations, the transliminal tones of the ocean waves, gangly meat brains to mock, but I guess I should be going. These elves plan to sell me. Can you imagine? I'll help you. On one condition. When we're done sewing up these chronosymphonic when we're done sewing up these time breaches, you'll let me wander the Mundus in peace. No more dim-witted Sijiks peppering me with questions. No more dusty shelves. We have a deal? Right. So, should we get going, or...? Of course you do. Everyone asks questions, and I have all the answers. Fair warning, be specific. I'm bound to tell the truth, but the truth can be a little... slippery. You know what I mean? I'm a traveler like you, except... well, nothing like you, to be honest. No offense. I'm what you might call an aspect, eh? Like an idea's shadow. Don't make a face, I'm telling you the truth. Not my fault your language is so crude. I'm not in the skull. I am the skull. At least here on Nern. Over in the adjacent place, I'm shaped like a throat pillow. Imagine that. You look confused. It's just a trick of the light, mate. The skull's what you might call a manifestation. Of me! Ah, this is just sad. Try this. Imagine a soul gem. Got it? Now imagine that the soul in the gem is also the gem itself. Weird, right? Ha! Mime and a head explosion. You can't see it because I haven't got any arms, but it's happening. I am one of the unfortunate quirks of the Sijic binding ritual that brought me here. I'm free to lie as much as I like, unless you, or anyone else for that matter, ask me a direct question. Cheap trick if you ask me. They did, a bit. I'm certain I could break out if I really put my mind to it. I don't blame them, honestly. If I was in their position, bobbing along like a little lost acorn in an ocean of knowledge, I'd want to trap me too. I guess, but instantaneous translocation's not like a Sundar scroll. The veil here in Mundus is all thick and sticky, you know? Like I said before, I think I'm grounded for the foreseeable future. I will. had no idea you were so funny. We're gonna have a really good time, you and I. Yes, in answer to your direct question, I do know a lot, and by a lot, I mean basically everything. Well, an augur of the obvious wouldn't be very useful, would it? For what it's worth, I lobbied for something way more impressive. The resplendent skull of hexagonal wonders! It was forcefully vetoed. No counting for taste, I guess. Of course I do. Everything has a name. Names give a thing its shape. Birds, snowflakes, tea kettles, you get the idea. I'd tell you mine, but you'd need about 6 more tongues and a pair of symbols to pronounce it correctly, so let's not bother. Fair enough. So, where to? I assume you've got a map or something?
Father! You had me so worried. What happened? Where's your boat?
None of that now, my Nevis Cup. I'll tell you all about it. But first, there's one more thing we need to see to. Come, friends. It's time we commit our memories to the drink.
He washes up here after being gone for weeks, his boat nowhere in sight, and he acts like it's just another day on the sea. Was everything all right? Did he cause you any trouble? Oh, he put you up to that, didn't he? Papa always loves to embellish his journeys. Whatever the truth is, I'm just glad you brought him home safe. If all newcomers are so kind, Summerset will be fortunate to have you. He's not fooling me. I can tell something happened. Father's putting on a brave face, like he used to whenever I'd ask him about his younger days. He'd smile and deflect the question, but I could see a sadness in his eyes he couldn't hide. His secret. The fanciful story of meeting my mother, a myth about how the moon and stars winked on the day of my birth, and tall tales about his fishing voyages. Before that, not a word. Not once. I don't think I'll ever get the truth out of him. You're serious? So what you said about the sea elves attacking, it was all true? What's he hiding? Was he a pirate? I always wondered if he didn't talk about it because he was ashamed. Why would he hide that? I'm sorry, I have so many questions and it's not you who has the answers. I'll leave my father to the company of his friends for now, but when he's ready to come home, he can't leave his other life behind this time. Oh yes, she and Carterell have been together for years. She used to look after me when I was younger, while father and the others were off at sea. She's a good friend. I imagine she'll be with father and the others, waiting to see Carterell when she arrives. He and his mates have a tradition of celebrating their safe return. They're partial to a small batch brewer on the south side of Alinor, by the craft masons. They'll probably be there all night. The fanciful 70 years isn't enough. I love my father, but all I want is to love him for who he is, not who he shows me. When he was missing, I wasn't just worried I'd lose him. I was worried I'd never get the chance to know him. You didn't come here to listen to a grown woman bawling about her father to a stranger. Forgive me. You did enough bringing him home safe. What comes after is up to me.
These blasted guards. Perhaps there's a window. No, that won't do. So we meet again. Always nice and rare to see a friendly face. I'm afraid I don't have time to chat at the moment. I'm trying to seek entrance into this winery, but the guards refuse to let me in, despite my invitation. Tableau has left the House of Reveries, and tonight is our art debut. I received an invitation, but I suspect her patron caught wind of my arrival. Lilwen doesn't quite accept me as an acquaintance. In truth, I only wish to attend to check on Tableau. Her invitation came with a note outlining concerns for her safety. Could you perhaps go in and check on her? Make sure things run smoothly. It would mean a good deal to me if you would. Lilwen should be able to tell you where you can find Tableau. Just look for a noble type who looks like she has a stick up her ass. Well, more so than usual. Meet me behind the vineyard afterward. I'd rather not overstay my welcome here. Perhaps we were, but we've now gone our separate ways. Her choice of me as an acquaintance was always questionable, but mostly accepted when she was part of the House of Reveries. Once she acquired a patron, I felt it best to leave. Overly sentimental. Still, it's best this way. A reputable artist within Summerset is thought very highly of. It would never do to be seen with a Hulkind. I only came tonight out of concern for her safety. Once that's confirmed, I'll be on my way. My intentions are completely honorable, I assure you. There's no way I would harbor romantic intentions, given my status. Tableau is just one of the few Mer I consider a friend. The least I can do is keep her safe.
Strange. I don't remember seeing you on the guest list. What proof do you have? You're the 15th friend of hers to come out of the woodwork today. Why, I never knew she was so well connected before she debuted as Eleanor's newest artist. Perhaps you do know her. She's in the room upstairs, preparing. Would you be ever so useful and tell her to come down? I'd rather she not be late for her own debut. For such an outstanding artist, Tableau certainly seems to have a wide variety of friends. Stars forbid these attachments get in the way of her debut. Keeping her stage name is one thing. Her disreputable associates? Quite another. So you know the Hulkind as well? Aye, he's quite popular given his status. I never forbade Tableau from interacting with Manakar, but it seemed he understood his place well enough. For him to disrupt this debut, however, is a different matter. Tableau often has unnecessary sentiments. As her patron, it falls on me to bring her into the world of the elite. Sometimes that involves making such decisions. I certainly don't think I need to explain why Manakar is not an appropriate associate. Hate him? No, rather I pity him. A Mer without family cannot truly be considered a Mer, after all. Why, he's more than an outsider within Summerset. He's truly nothing. A broken child can never hope to become anything more. Did you truly think that Tableau was her actual name? Oh dear, of course not. The House of Reveries all have silly stage names such as that. Chuckle, Bug Eyes, that sort of thing. Quite the egregious practice, I must say. Of course they don't. Who would take someone named Bug Eyes seriously? But for Tableau, it works. After all, she is an artist. A certain air of mystery comes a long way if you know how to sell such things.
Salute! Salute! Hello!
I can't take it anymore. What could possibly be keeping you... oh my. I'm ruined. I'll be the laughingstock of Eleanor.
Were you able to speak to Tableau? Did she mention me? I mean, is she all right? Slack. So I'm the reason she was in danger. I don't know who these blackbirds are, but I do know Groom. Luckily for us, he owes me a favor. Meet me in the Alinor Outlaws Refuge. It's time we paid my old friend a visit.
Beach nearby. I don't know why you're so intent on sealing them. Linear time is so overrated. Just imagine, you could die before you were even born. Wait, that's horrifying, isn't it? I'm sorry. Never mind.
So good to see a fellow Ultima step forward in our time of need. You're here about the contract work, I presume? It's a sad day indeed when the divine prosecution requires outside help. But these are tumultuous times. With the army engaged on foreign shores and so many visitors on our island, our resources are stretched thin. Hence the contracts. Each assignment varies in scope, but all assume a certain level of danger. Some can be completed alone, but others will need allies to complete. You'll be asked to dispatch dangerous creatures, investigate suspicious activity. Those sorts of tasks. In accordance with our current regulations, each deputized citizen may accept a single contract from each Justicia every day. You are encouraged, of course, to check back regularly for new assignments. Does this kind of work appeal to you? Very well. I hereby authorize you to execute duties on behalf of the divine prosecution. Seek Justiciars Farewell and Tenorian for your first assignments. They handle the administration of all contracts. Go speak to Farewell and Tenorian. They can set you up with contracts and get you right to work. The Divine Prosecution is a division of the Queen's Thelmore, charged with enforcing secular and religious law through Summerset. We investigate corruption and crime and adjudicate legal disputes. Your assignments will reflect this broad scope. Justicia Tenorian's contracts can be handled by a single agent, while Justicia Farewell's assignments require a group to eradicate the dangerous beasts she cares about. And at some point, talk to Battle Reeve Tanaline about specialized missions.
You would challenge me to a duel? How droll. But then how can we have a proper contest? You don't even know the Ultima code of dueling, do you? Learn the rules and challenge me properly. Then I'll teach you some manners.
Hey, stranger. Been wondering where you got off to. It's good to see you again. Sorry if I'm a little on edge. That elf Lyrindel just dumped a barrel of insults on my head. Mark me, I'm going to knock that loose tongue right out of his mouth. Because I'm not an idiot. Guards see an orc thumping the ears off an elf in the middle of the street. You know how that turns out. Thought if I challenged him to a duel, we could make it legal. But he won't fight unless I challenge him properly. How in oblivion would I know? These elves have rules for everything. How to eat, how to sleep. Of course they've got rules about how to beat each other up. Say, you wouldn't be interested in helping me figure this out, would you? I appreciate the help. Trust me, this is a noble cause. First things first, you'll need to track Lyrindel down and find out how to get this nonsense started. I'd ask him myself, but the urge to punch him might be too much for me. Ah, you know how it is. Orc in a town full of stuck-up Altmer. Same old story. I was in the tavern, washing down a lamb shank with a bottle of wine, minding my own business. Then along comes this beanpole telling me I've got to leave. Why do you think? This island's full of orc haters. Only thing they hate worse than orcs walking the streets is orcs drinking their wine. Lyrindel told me I was stinking up the place, so I told him to yank the stick out of his arse and shove off. He laid into me with everything he had. Tongue-lashing me about my tusks, my clothes, my beard. And that's the one that really got my dander up. I put a lot of work into this beard. He ended the whole thing with pig face. Pig face! Damn right! I've been on the receiving end of that one too many times. So now he's going to learn a lesson. Are you kidding me? I could clobber that arseface blindfolded. I'm not one for boast, but since you asked, I'm a 5-time blood-brawling champion. In the Rothgar League, mind you. Used to call me Rogazog the Face Demolisher. Yeah, because I, demolish faces. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? I always wanted a really sharp moniker, like the Hatchet or Fist of Malakath or something like that. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, that elf's in big trouble. I've been asking myself the same thing ever since I stepped off the boat. Thought maybe I'd have a look around, take in the sights. My Aunt Lasbesh used to tell me stories about this place, see? Tales about glass trees and crystal towers and magic ale. Yeah, it's supposed to put your arse over flagging with a single sip. No self-respecting orc would pass up a challenge like that. Unfortunately, I haven't found any magic drinks. Just fancy wine and prissy elves. I don't know why I listened to my aunt. When I was a pup, she got her head stuck in a bucket. Couldn't get it off for a night and a day. So, yeah, Smart Gold says she was making it up. Then again, I'm here on her advice, so who's a real idiot?
Go, speak to Groom. I believe he has some information to share with us.
So you're Manakar's new friend, huh? How touching. He's filled me in on all the details. Just know I had no idea who the Blackbirds were targeting when I agreed to be their fence. Not that I'm pleased about ratting them out. That's right. And despite my belly aching, I'm not an orc who goes back on his word. That being said, I do have a reputation to uphold. This little meeting stays between us. Kingshaven Pass. That's where you need to go. Not sure, but Kingshaven is just one long valley. Move quickly enough, and you can catch them from behind or cut them off. Just need to watch out for the goblins. By Moloch, that's all I can tell you.
Then we head for Kingshaven. Kerr and I will go to the eastern end of the pass and set up an ambush. You cut off their retreat.
Honor and praise, Karam. Can I help you with something? Oh, for Stendar's sake, that business. I won't apologize for speaking the truth. That orc is an uncivilized, gloveless buffoon. I'd sooner duel a frog or a tea kettle. But if he insists on facing me, he'll need to learn our dueling customs. You've forgotten our rites of martial contest? How sad. The Guide to Altmeri Culture contains a full accounting of the rules. It's there on the table. If the orc meets the preconditions and notifies my second, Fandalol, I will accept his challenge.
Back so soon? He blew you off, didn't he? Oh, what I wouldn't give to knock that smug grin off his face. Let me see. Looks like I need a second. An Altmer dueling foil, and Lyrandel's full name to recite before the duel. Want to be my second? It'll be worth your time, trust me. I'm going to lay that elf out like a cheap rug. What do you say? You can pick up an elven dueling foil in town. As for Lyrandel's name, he wouldn't shut up about it. Started with Rumelon, I think. It should be chiseled somewhere in the runes of Torheimkard. Arrange the duel with Fandalol and we'll be all set. I'm going to find a good spot near the ruins just west of here for our duel. It's the guards, see? Duels are acceptable between high elves, but when an orc's involved, might make them grumpy enough to step in and stop it. We can't let that happen.
About
1,000 greetings, honored patron. What a delight. A high elf deigns to speak with humble Natani. Moons be praised. How can this one serve you, noble walker? Dueling sword. Yes, a fine selection. This one has just the thing. A needle-sharp blade wrought from the finest glass. I took it from the lord of this house. Do not judge, it pays me. Nothing fair is fair, yes? It can be yours for the right price. You drive a hard bargain, Walker. But this one is feeling charitable today. Take this blade with Nadani's compliments and good luck with your duel.